What year was the garage built?
No, the garage was built in 1908, and it replaced the carriage house that was located just west of here, and that's where Edison originally kept his cars. And he got his first electric car in 1897, and this charging station may have actually, my understanding is, been originally installed in the carriage house next door, and then installed here when the garage was finished in 1908. Edison had already had a number of electric cars. His first car he ever owned was actually a 1897 Columbia Electric, and so he would have needed something like this from the very beginning to charge the batteries of his car before every use. And he really hoped that this would be a real growth industry in the 20th century. Like cars, thought electric cars were really the way to go. It would also be good for the electric companies because during off hours, after everyone went to bed, and 100 and some years ago, people went to bed much earlier than they do now. It would be something that would provide a use for electric generating stations. People could be charging their cars overnight when demand for electricity was low. And the idea was you would pull up your car and you would hook cables such as this one to the batteries and then charge the batteries overnight. And it's, direct current charging station, various gauges to monitor the flow of current in and, what the charge of the batteries were. And there were typically in very many cars 2 sets of batteries, some in the front, some in the back. One of Edison's Detroit Electrics actually has batteries in what we would call the trunk, as well as where the engine compartment would normally be. So the cables are quite long, and it's also possible you would have had to maneuver the car, but of course Edison had a chauffeur to do this for many years, and so he had people to do that. But the electric cars work fairly well given the time period. Ranges going upwards of 100 miles, test models going 200 miles on a charge, although the speed at which you did that, you traveled, and the demands you put on the engine going uphill, for instance, would cause the range to differ. They were very popular with women. There are several pictures of Mrs. Edison behind the wheel, or the tiller, as the case may be on some of the early cars, a tiller rather than a wheel. And wealthier urban women liked it because they could go shopping on their own. They didn't need to crank start it, which was extremely difficult, which the early cars had to do before the electric starter was developed for gasoline-powered cars. So they were very popular for a long time, but it would have been vital to have something like this. And these aren't often seen anymore. They would have been something that would have been in place for people who had electric cars, but for the most part they've disappeared. This is the only one I know of, so it really is a unique historic object that should be preserved to help tell the Edison story, and also the story of the development of the automobile in the early 20th century. Well, through the years, yes, there have often been people, well-meaning people have often attempted to do things with the best of intentions that in retrospect it would have been best if they had not done. There's always a question about whether you want to keep it functioning or have it appear to be functioning or leave it as it was. So it was a question between conservation and preservation, and thoughts about what the best preservation techniques and conservation techniques have evolved through the years. So yeah, there are cases where, such as this, where things were done in the past that we would like to undo in the future to really keep it or bring it back to its historical appearance.
So we don't have any hope of making it work again, but we want to make it look the way it looked so people can see and appreciate what it was.
Yes, and also just in standard for preservation, some of the discoloration, the staining, the chemical stains, or other dirt and wear that has just accumulated on through the years, just being in place in an old building. it would be best for the object if we could clean it using modern preservation techniques, bring it up to the standards that some other objects in other parts of the laboratory have been brought through over the last 20 to 30 years with the help of the Edison Preservation Foundation, the Friends of Thomas Edison, National Historic Park, and other such organizations.